Hi, gorgeous goddess sisters. I am Jessica Angelari, the feminine embodiment and pleasure intimacy guide. And I wanted to speak to you today about some of the feminine vibes that you might be feeling, all the feels right now as the new moon is tonight. So we're just transitioning from the dark moon phase into the new moon, and I just wanted to ask how you are feeling, what's present within you right now as we do approach the new moon. Let us know in the comments. So maybe you're feeling tension in the body, maybe you've been feeling a little bit low in your energy, maybe exhausted, maybe you are feeling on, some sort of high, you're feeling a lot of joy, whatever it is. None of it is right or wrong, and all of it is welcome. My invitation for you is to feel into the deliciousness of your being in your body right now. And that doesn't come easy for a lot of us women. But I wanted to, and I will continue to remind you that your body is wise and she will always guide you. A lot of the time, this is the aspect of ourselves, which is the feminine, that we tend to ignore because it feels unsettling or it feels uncomfortable. It doesn't give us the direct or clear answer to our questions or to our challenges. It doesn't really offer us in the moment that we want it, then our ego wants it. It doesn't give us the clear answer, but it does hold your truth. It does hold your magic. It holds the space for your expansion of your highest potential to occur. So when you are feeling chaotic, and then when you go into your body, this is where you then feel the most at ease. Like I said, this takes practice because we're not used to doing this. And when you feel at ease, you allow yourself to then listen to your body, who holds your wisdom, who holds your answers. As I mentioned, it doesn't feel very clear. The answers don't feel clear, but the answers are they're derived from your soul, from your spirit, from your heart. And this is what we always want to be returning to. And in this way, when we listen to her and not what's going up here all the time, in this way, we contribute to a higher vibration of the collective, because you're not getting pulled into all the fears and into all the doubts that continue to play out. And they will always play out. That's the thing. We get to choose, though, what we decide, what we listen to. When I speak about the dark moon, this is the time that we go into emptiness, and usually happens a couple days before the new moon. So we're just at the end of that before we transition. And from this emptiness is where all of creation is birthed. And this is a space that we feel magic. This is a space we feel our feminine rise, where we feel expansion, where we feel that spark of passion move through our body. And sometimes that can feel scary if we're used to holding back or playing small, because it takes us out of our control. It takes us into places that feels unknown. But this is the time, a very powerful time, that we are asked to go into the body, listen to the body, come inward and allow ourselves to go into that void, because that is exactly where we feel the light. That's exactly where we feel, where we know where we need to go next. So we're very lucky that we get to be pulled into this energy every month, as well as every month in our own menstrual cycle. I mean, there's nothing more magical than that. Yesterday, I will tell you a little story myself. I was feeling down. I woke up quite emotional, actually. And there was nothing that happened that triggered me. And that's the thing. Nothing actually has to happen. And that's what's confusing to us, because a lot of the time, especially if you communicate this with your partner, and if he's not used to this, he'll want to go straight into fixing or solution mode and think of the next steps to solve the problem. And if you tell him you don't understand where this is coming from, that can feel really confusing to him. So he also needs educating in this. And the only way he can be educated is through you. So yeah, I woke up and I was feeling, I was feeling sad. And that's the other thing. We won't always feel on top of the world. We won't always wake up, no matter how much spiritual work you do, or pleasure work you do, or mindfulness work you do. You won't always wake up feeling like you're on top of the world. And that's the beauty and that's the magic of the feminine, because we dip high and low constantly. And this makes us forever learners of this beautiful life that we've been given. We are always learning. And I had a beautiful goddess sister who's in this community, and she reached out to me and she mentioned something about my post, something really beautiful. She mentioned some beautiful words. She shared some beautiful things with me about my post and my message and my wisdom. And she said, I'm not the teacher, but I'm the learner. And that made me think, we are, even the teachers like myself, who have been on this path for years. I started this when I was 20, years and years. It doesn't matter the time, but my point is, we are all learners just as much as we are teachers. So even the people that you think, the ones that show up and they look perfect all the time, they have these dark moments. They have these low moments. This is the beauty, the magic of the feminine. Otherwise, we are constantly in this denial. The spiritual path is not about denial on, it's a humble path, and it takes humility as well to say that, I've made mistakes, or I'm feeling shit today, or I don't know the answer to this. That's what makes the best teacher. So I just wanted to, that was a little side note there. So going back to what I was speaking about, it's very normal to feel a different range of emotions. And my invitation is for you to taste it as it is, without judging it, without having an objective to it or an intention to figure it all out. We need to stop figuring it all out. And I say this a lot of the time, but I will continue to say it. It's a time for you to just immerse in it and taste the deliciousness of what the darkness has to offer you, without you feeling the fear to go there and then lose your mind. We can integrate mind, heart, body, soul, all of it as we dive into that darkness. And it's a mysterious, mystical thing that we can take ourselves through if we allow ourselves to go there, down into the unknown. This is the most beautiful, magical, just soul fulfilling journey that you can ever take yourself into. And of course, and very healing as well. And to go into these spaces without knowing what's going to happen or what this is all about is such an empowering thing, an empowering feeling. So when I was feeling like that yesterday, that's all I did. I just allowed myself to be there. I've practiced doing that so much now that I'm able to be in that, allow myself to feel the depth of my emotion and also feel into the pleasure behind it, the deliciousness of what that means. And as I surrender into this, bits and pieces of information naturally, or I should say messages from my soul, are given to me through my body as I surrender. We can't receive when we're like tight and in control. What's going to happen next? Why am I feeling like this? What should I do now to get rid of this thing? It just doesn't happen. Or numbing yourself, or going to do something to distract yourself. You're just wiping it under the rug, and it will continue to rise and come back again and again. That's the beauty of this. This is the mysteries of life that we get to go through. So yes, it can feel unsettling if you're not used to allowing yourself to be there with all of your presence. Yes, it takes practice. And we practice this through sensuality and pleasure, because that is what creates ease and openness. This is the erotic. That's everything that I speak about in my work. It goes beyond mindfulness, because this is now about you in the allowance. And in that allowance, in the unknown, is where you open more of yourself to receive what else is meant for you. Your goddess, your inner goddess, your higher self, your divine guides will only provide you what you need when you can handle it, like when you are, when they know that you are open to receiving it. And if we don't allow ourselves to drop in and feel it in there with so much presence and love, then we go into that feeling of scatteredness, or lashing out, or feeling frustrated, or even losing ourselves. That used to happen to me all of the time, because I would be really afraid of the darkness, or afraid of my intense emotions. And I feel like that's a common thread for a lot of us, because we've been taught that we shouldn't feel all these things, and if we do, we're crazy, or we're scattered, we're all over the place, we're messy. And that's not okay for the logical mind, or for this world that requires fixing all the time and perfectionism. But as soon as we feel a dense emotion, but then we scrutinize it, and we say this is wrong, or we judge ourselves, or we try and push it away, that's when all these other ideas, old ideas and beliefs, and all these things that really keep us small continue to show up, right? So we have to stop being afraid of our own intensity. We have to. And we have to start learning to drop down into the body, connecting with your senses as a way to help you feel safe to go there and be there. And then when you know how to do this, then you communicate this with your partner. So connecting with your sensuality allows you to be, helps you to be present, helps you to receive the messages of your soul. When we're not used to understanding how to be with the intensity of our energies and emotions, then we feel unsafe, we feel unsettled, we feel out of control. And therefore, we don't know how to communicate this with our loved one. So it's up to us. We can't blame them entirely. We can feel the intensity of our emotions, but at the same time, be present and balanced. Just like you can plan for your future and have these desires for your future and dreams, but then also not know what's going to happen next. So it takes a lot of surrender, a lot of trust, and knowing who you are, your truth, and what you need in the moment. And our answers will then come when you least expect it, which is why we cannot brush these intense emotions off. Rather, we need to be in the acceptance, in the allowance, in the open arms of it. Yes, like you're receiving your delicious lover. Your darkness is the delicious lover. And we just, and then know as well that this is just a passing emotion or passing thought. We can come into so much self-awareness here. And this is also how we can teach our men how to be in this presence, in this allowance as well, with all of your emotions, without it needing to be anything else. The unknown is where the magic is, and that can be super scary for someone who's very logical or who requires control, because control has kept us safe for a very long time. When we are in control, we know exactly what's going to happen next. But this is not where the expansion and the healing and the magic happens. So whatever you do, when you come into this allowance and dropping in and just receiving this deliciousness of your wholeness, because it is part of you being in your feminine, it's so soothing for our relationships as well. So when I was feeling all these things yesterday, I have trained my partner to know what I'm feeling or what the best thing to say is. So he now knows how to hold that space for me, because he's seen me do that for myself. And he knew exactly. And that's the beauty of a relationship, is that they are then able to see maybe the next step. And in that moment, I didn't need to understand where the root of that emotion was coming from, but he knew that I needed to we went to the forest. He knew I needed to go to the forest. He made that decision for us, and I allowed him to make that decision, and I went along with that because I trust him. And that's the trust as well that comes into it. I trusted him to take the lead into knowing what it was that was going to fulfill my heart. And then there, as I connected with nature, was when I started to feel, yes, I felt more at ease and relaxed with where this emotion was coming from. So the answers just naturally came to me. So I'm just reminding you of your big vibe in all your intensities. It's just delicious if we allow ourselves to go there. There's so much pleasure in all of that unknown, so much pleasure that can be felt in your emotions, so much pleasure that can be felt in all these mysteries of life. There's just so much that can be extracted from that. Okay. Happy new moon, my beautiful goddess sisters in here. I'm also reminding you, remember, on Wednesday, I'm holding a summer solstice Temple of the Goddess ritual for us to come together, drink some cacao, connect with our hearts, and reflect on where we are and all the amazing stuff that you do. I just wanted to use this time to celebrate you. We don't often just take a moment to celebrate where we are and who we've become, and because I'm pretty sure you're not the same person that you were since last September or even March. We are in flux all the time. We are changing beings. So I want to celebrate you, and I hope you can come. It's at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It happens to be 7 p.m. UK time. Replays will be available. I'll drop the link again so you can sign up, and I hope to see you there. And I'm sending all my blessings, love, and passion to you, my gorgeous ones. Mwah.